Anyways, after I'm sure this will be
After
another
talking
topic
about
of space. Believe it or not either
another
one of the
Pokemon
games.
episode.
Well, that's the thing. We could definitely
could
talk
do
about Pokemon outside of just their Pokédex entries.
Oh yeah, no, we could do an entire Pokemon game episode, or just Pokemon in general episode.
You'd poke someone. I vote Hide.
Hide is fun to poke.
I know, right, Mikey? Who would have thought? After all this time, we're still alive.
For now.
For now. Anyways. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Home. And today, your co-stars. That's all.
What? Sure.
Today's episode.
What would happen if someone redeemed the IRL voice ban during a pod episode?
I guess it would only apply to me.
I mean, yeah. But how long would that last for?
Doesn't it say?
Does
3
it?
minutes.
3 minutes? I would have to just... I mean, I could do it. I could talk to myself for 3 minutes.
True. You've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways. No, I don't have a robot voice, although I'm sure I could get a text-to-speech very easily.
Yeah, I feel like that would be very easy, yeah.
Hold on, now I have to look it up just in case.
I don't have the bits. Not yet, at least. Not the channel points, so...
Anyways. Weekly obsessions / D&D update, if you have one.
I don't remember the last D&D update that I gave.
Well, it was 2
Because we
weeks.
didn't do one last... Yeah, no, but I didn't do one. We only played Deadlock.
Yeah, but did you have something to update?
Yes, we had D&D the night before.
Well,
We had D&D last week. I'm trying to think genuinely. Did I already say about the dragon that we ran into?
no, I don't think so.
Okay, then I must have left off when the ship crashed into the... I'll give a small recap of this current situation we're in. We went to we met up with the person that we saved last time, Laird Skane. Okay, I did mention the dragon. I'll still give an update. I'll still do a recap. We met up with Laird Skane, who we saved from the previous like 2 arcs ago within this campaign. And we met up with him and then one of the university professors and was like, okay, here's the plan, because we're going to try to get this artifact off this ship that's going to be coming into the port. And we got all set up and everything. We were waiting for the ship to get in, and then the ship just crashed into the port, like onto the land. And we're like, well, what the hell is going on? And
You didn't hear it.
what happened?
Nothing.
What?
Continue.
Well, that's so funny.
You can listen to it later.
And then, and now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, and then a bunch of people were jumping off the ship and attacking, like all the citizens who were there because it was a really big ship that was supposed to be coming in. And then a dragon showed up and started wrecking shit. And so we're trying to run away, and trying to find the university professor because we want to make sure she's okay because we weren't able to get in contact with her. And we get into some fights and some situations, and we end up running into this wizard who is trying to set up a teleportation glyph basically to get a bunch of people into Sharn, which is the main city.
That part I remember.
And then yeah, everything fucking blew up. And then there was so me and Yoshi's character, because we have weird dragon marks that give us weird abilities, had to go through the process of trying to find a quote-unquote different path that saved both us and the other 2 party members who don't have that ability. And then the dragon appeared right above us, and we're like, ah, fuck. And the dragon starts talking to us through our chorus stone, which allows us to talk to each other like telepathically. And it forces upon the language of the giants onto us. So now we can understand that. And so it's talking to us, and it's talking about how the wreckage of the city will be its temple, and you better not mess with its temple, or else it'll come back and wreck shit more. And then it planned on killing us, but the ground below us fell out. And so we ended up in the cistern, which is basically just the sewers underneath the city. And we got into, we just started going. We went a direction because we were like, well, now we gotta figure out what to do. And we went a direction, and we came across like this open area, and we ended up fighting like this. I think it's called an Odiuk, but it's basically, it looks like a weird, an alligator with no bones, basically.
Okay.
A boneless alligator. And
Sounds like a salamander.
well, it's going like in and out of grates and everything, and we're fighting that. And there are moments where there is this person named Sonder who keeps kind of appearing and disappearing, and each time that she appears, we have no recollection of who she is, until after the fight. It's like, oh yeah, this is Sonder. We're like, oh yeah, cool, awesome, thanks, Sonder. And then she disappears again. There was no one there. We're being gaslit by our DM constantly, basically. And we go through and we come across the Breaking Bad people, is what I call them, because they're obviously doing illegal shit. And we're like, take us out of here. You seem to know where we can get, how we can get out of these sewers. And so they start leading us, and then there's a cave-in. And I don't know if they're alive. I'm assuming they're dead. And so we have to go down a different path. And we end up, like, we have to do a couple of things, like, oh, we have to go down and this room's flooded, but there are some gates that can let the water out. So since my character doesn't need to breathe, so they could go underneath the water and just start messing with shit, and let's go. And then we come across another room that's full of some dangerous equipment that is like kind of going haywire. And I think the intention from the DM was for us to like figure out a way to like disarm them. And but our freaking warlock just had spider climb and just went on the ceiling, was carrying us across one by one. And we ended up coming out right underneath the ship that had beached itself. What do you mean? We haven't associated with criminals before. We've taken down criminals, we haven't associated ourselves with criminals.
I think he just thinks you are a criminal.
I mean, I think that's just D&D bias. And so we get up onto the ship, and we're like, let's see if we can go find this artifact. May as well, kind of a deal. And we come across some of these, like some more of the zombie guys, and we're finding all of these old like message logs from the ship and from people that we're just hearing about, like some weird shit that's been going on. And we come across this
This is when it
This
turns into
guy-
a survival horror.
kind of, but we come across this guy who is very clearly losing his mind. Why, we aren't really sure yet, but he's losing his mind. He has like this very fancy bedazzled scepter kind of thing.
That's
And
why.
probably. And our fighter and our warlock, who's still climbing on the ceiling, decide to go try and talk to this guy, and fucking set him off. And he releases this giant magical like torrential elemental like spell thing, and we all end up hurt. And we have to like we're trying to like be like, okay, he fucked off. I'm pretty sure he thinks we're like some of those zombies, and we're like, let's just keep going because we're trying to get to a specific area. We're trying to go see if we can find this artifact that was supposed to be in like this person's possession, so we're trying to get to where their quarters would have been. And we we found we have found like a stairwell that was like mostly already destroyed, and we're trying to climb our way up when this guy appears at the top and goes to shoot us again. And we're all already pretty fucking injured at this point. And we get knocked down, and our warlock is actually like our warlock is actually like down. So for once it wasn't me that almost died. Woohoo, let's go. And my character actually tries to attack the guy who shot that like the giant lightning bolt, I think is what he did. And but his scepter like absorbs all of my magic. And so we get our warlock back up, and it's like, we gotta find another way, we guess, because he fucking destroyed the rest of these stairs. And so we go through, and we're going through the cargo hold, and we come across where we're pretty sure he took the scepter from, and we're finding a bunch of these things from like this place that used to be the land of the giants. And so now that we can speak the language of the giants, we can read it all, and we're doing all of that. And as we're looking at like this box where the scepter used to be held, what we're assuming is like the voices of the dead giants who used to kind of rule over that place that made the scepter are talking to us. And we're like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And Yoshi's character, so our bard and then our warlock kind of are like, no, fuck this, and like kind of leave the room. But then me and the fighter are listening, and they're like, okay, so the giant spirits are offering us these amulets, which are giving us this a new power up, basically. And that's where we ended, because apparently there's gonna be the next session is gonna have like a big boss fight and kind of conclude this like little mini arc that we've been in.
Are you gonna take revenge on the Scepter dude?
With the current mind, my character's been going through a certain things recently, and they're a lot more aggressive. They're a lot more aggressive because literally like
So
the kind of but they've almost died 3 times, and now they have actually technically canonically died, but because of their weird mark power thing, whatever, we don't really have a name for it, they were able to bring themselves back, but it took who knows how long to find a path where they lived, and then they had to do it all again, and they witnessed their friends die over and over again too. So they're not having a good time right now. Their temper is short, they are fucking tired. This was not how this was supposed to go. And so they're usually not the ones to immediately be like, okay, let's fight. And so they're kind of going like a little bit like, okay, this is a cool new power, let's go fight. And so I'm excited for that, because I've been wanting my character to fucking snap for a while now. So I'm excited for them to snap.
And your weekly obsession?
This is kind of lame, but I've been watching Danny Mata react to things. He's a YouTuber who I got to him from Epic the Musical reactions. And then I saw him react to Rise of the Guardians, and I liked that, and so I just finished watching him react to Gravity Falls, and now I'm watching him react to The Owl House.
Like the entirety of the series?
Yes.
Dear Lord.
And so it's entertaining for me, because it's just that like, oh, I want people to watch the same thing I do, and I want to see how they react to it. And he has some interesting inputs about it also. I think it's very interesting. But I've also been learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube, which has been very fun.
Oh my gosh, I remember you told me about that. How do you not know how to solve
I still haven't solved this fucking thing, because I'm doing it step by step and making sure I can do each step. So I can solve up to the middle layer, and then we're doing it step by step. And also I don't know what kind.
Was it a random? Like, did you just shuffle it randomly?
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Yep, I shuffle it randomly, and then I'll solve up to where I can, and then I'll shuffle it all again, and then when I feel like I can do it easily, then I will go to the next thing. And I've been understanding it, so I'm very proud of myself for that.
Didn't you say didn't you say you got it as like a gift?
I'm pretty sure a vendor at work dropped it off. And no one claimed it, so I took it.
And that's how Sarah began her logic puzzle era.
Because, I mean, actually, I may have... the logo may have gotten rubbed off now at this point.
Well, now you'll
It
never
had a
know.
logo at one point, but like I said, I've been messing with it so much it may have just gone off. But it's actually a smooth cube that moves around very, very easily, and I like it.
He loves things that move easily.
Yep. You bet.
That sounded like you cut off, like you were gonna say something. And then you
No, it's just
decided
me.
not
No,
to.
it's just...
You bet.
It's not criminal if they literally give it to me. Mikey.
Why did you
Shut up.
speak this way?
No.
Give it to me, Mikey. Okay, well.
Oh, and AGR came out with a new EP, so I've been listening to that. Sorry, now go ahead.
Is it just an EP or is it supposed to be like before an album?
I don't know. They didn't really say it. But it's an EP that they've been like teasing for about a month now. So I think it's just an EP. I don't think it's before an album. But knowing how they do things, it very well could be.
That's okay, Mikey. She was saying random things.
I don't think it was RoboSarah. I think it was just me.
True. I think, to be fair, this has only been within the past like week or so, and I don't even know necessarily how it started. I think it started because I was checking news on getting the shiny from the event. But it started at the beginning of this week. I like started down this Pokemon hole, not a Pokemon's hole, mind you. And
I hope not.
between that, the news of the ZA game, and then all the other things, I started watching these different challenges that people were doing, whether it be Nuzlocke or if it was just shiny challenges of like even the old like GBA games. And I've just been on this Pokemon kick to the point where I really wanted to play a new Pokemon game so badly that I just got Legends of Arceus yesterday. Because I hadn't had it and I hadn't played it, but I wanted to play it at some point, and then I was like, yes, because this is at least accessible, and the old DS games are $400, so I'm not going that route. But that's the main thing that I've been looking at, and it's made me want to devise a better team revolving around like whatever Pokemon in whatever region I'm stuck in, depending on the game. But
Hey, yeah.
other than that, from last pod episode, which was the Deadlock one, I think I've only gotten like 17 new songs. There hasn't been that many new albums or songs from artists that I like, so most of the songs that I've encountered have just been like out of the blue ones. And even then, none of them have captured my attention like super much, to the point of like it's the only thing I can listen to. But near the beginning of when I first started listening to this one, which was near the Deadlock stream, was this one called Ayaya by this girl named Yoonha Verse, and it's about taking LSD. But
that
keep in mind, it's a jam. So
okay.
You can't knock it till you try it, both with the song and LSD. So
I don't know if that's what we want to be saying.
So that's the main one that I think I had on repeat for a decent amount of time. Other stuff, there were some Aisha erotica songs that came into my orbit that I'm sure Sarah would love to listen to, because she loves that genre of music.
Yeah, totally.
The horror music that I listen to. But yeah, those have been the main things that I've been doing. I mean, the only other thing I can think of that happened that's not necessarily been an obsession as much as it's just been my daily life for the past couple, like, week and a half. Because I have more responsibilities at work. I
Yeah.
have to
Well,
do. And those responsibilities basically make it so that even when I do get a lunch break, I feel guilty for not doing things, even though technically speaking, I'm supposed to be on lunch break. So that's been fun. And more events are popping up, and more future events are popping up that I'm gonna have to be involved in. No, Mikey, I haven't been promoted. I just have been given more tasks that I was supposed to have beforehand, but now they're doing weird workarounds in order to get me to do them. Not from my own volition, mind you, because they didn't let me do them before. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Oh, I will say, I can disclose this to an extent without giving away too much about where I work. But recently, I had someone call in, and I answered the phone, obviously, and they said that they were a celebrity barber. And they
What?
were asking me, who you know what position I hold, if I could get them in contact with like the president of the place I work at to see about opportunities for them to teach cosmetology classes there. And I straight up said to them, I don't have access to that number. And you know what she said to me? She said, why is that? And I was like, I don't know. Like, what do you want me to answer in this scenario? Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was so ridiculous that in the moment I genuinely was like so astonished I didn't know what to say because of these responses that she was giving me, and I was like, okay. But yeah,
my God.
so that was funny. And that's honestly, it's amazing that that's been one of the crazier calls that came in recently, because typically we get at least like 2 maybe a week, and that was the first one in a couple of weeks. But I think it's just because there's not as many deadlines, and so crazy people get to call. But yeah, celebrity barber.
Yep.
Oh, and she wanted to offer her services to sports teams.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. But yeah, anyway, so no, I don't
Did
know
she
which
give you a
celebrity.
name?
No, she probably did say her name, but it was not any one. Why would I know celebrity barber names?
Maybe you looked it up afterwards?
Well, that's the thing. Whenever people tell me their name, I never trust like how I put down their name, because I put down what it sounds like. The most I
mean, if
have,
it was a celebrity barber, I feel like you could have typed out
the most
a
I
name
had
and then it would
was a
have.
phone number, to which I'm sure I probably could have reverse searched and gotten a name, but I didn't care. And at that point, she was already testing my patience, and I didn't want to know who she was.
Well,
But yeah. So just know, if you're claiming to be a celebrity barber and you call where I work, I will say, no, I cannot help you get in touch with the president. Just in general.
fucking statement.
And if you say, why is that? I will say, I don't know. Because I don't have an answer for why I don't have access to that contact information. I just don't. But yeah.
Wild.
We get a lot of people that call not regarding anything having to do with why we're there. And sometimes we can help them, and other times it's something like that, where it's like, we don't have a cosmetology section, nor do the sports teams need you. So, anyways, this week's episode is about video games. Who would have thought? Where are we? Who is this? And
You.
it's specifically about our favorite video games, our specific favorite video games, and a slight in-depth reason as to potentially why they're our favorite video games, and or more specific details about the video games themselves. Would you like to start? Or would you like me to start? I feel like you have a bigger one.
I do have a bigger one. I mean, I have a few small ones, and then I have a bigger one.
I have my main one.
I mean, I could actually argue I have one small one and two big ones, but
Oh dear God.
you start out with a small one.
Okay. So the main theme that was today's thing was obviously like what games we particularly liked. And I've mentioned this before. I know we've mentioned these before, at least a list before. And the main game that ever since I played it, has kind of been like my favorite game is a game called Sayonara Wild Hearts. And
This is the only one I knew you were going to talk about.
it's basically a rhythm game. It's like the simplest way of explaining it is it's a dynamic rhythm game where every single level changes how it's played, except the rules stay the same. What I mean by that is like sometimes you'll be on a motorcycle and you will have to just try and not die while collecting little tokens. Or sometimes you are in a 2D, not platforming, but side-scrolling section on a VR headset, and you also have to not die while also dodging missiles that are coming at you, and also collecting special coins in order to pass through the game. And yes, Mikey, it is that same one. And the fun part about it, of multiple things, is that because it's a rhythm game, it is heavily entwined with music. Specifically the soundtrack for it. And I think I've always liked rhythm games in general, just because I like it when games can utilize music in an intuitive way. But there's a big difference between a rhythm game that's like procedurally generated, like Audiosurf or something, versus one that obviously has like a set beat. And the only other one I can think of like off the top of my head is like No Straight Roads, because that's obviously it's a rhythm game with multiple different sections that change depending on where you're going. And with that, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for like creative moments versus like Audiosurf, where it's fun but it's technically speaking like the same thing over and over again, just different based off of the song. And plus, what happens is in these kinds of rhythm games, there is stories. And sometimes there's like full-on stories, and sometimes there's no stories. I think the main reason why this game in particular speaks to me is because I think it can speak to a lot of people because it's not very concrete in what its story is. The most you know is what they tell you, and they don't tell you a lot. Like, you start off as this girl who her heart's been broken into a bunch of pieces. And simultaneously, while this has happened, in this weird magical world, I don't know how else to put it, but in this weird magical world, specifically being looked over by the major arcana of the High Priestess, the Hierophant, and the Empress, which are tarot cards, which is another reason why I like this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's one of probably your main reasons.
But they are basically being shoved aside and cast to be dying by Death, who has allied up with the Devil, the Moon, the Lovers, and the Hermit, all taking different forms, who've basically, quote unquote, taken all harmony into their own hearts and therefore made discordance spread across whatever universe this alternate one is. The only reason I say it's a different universe is because technically speaking, the main girl that you play as turns into a different person because she basically gets converted to the Fool from the shattered pieces of her broken heart. Now, say what you will about this. Yes, it's complicated. However, I think if you know the quote unquote whole story of the game, I like that because it's not concrete, a lot of different people can relate to it in different facets. Because looking at it from like a glance, you could tell that, oh, obviously maybe it's about like this girl getting over heartbreak of like previous lovers, whatever. But I feel like it's very more, there's a lot of interpretations that you could take with it. all relating back to the self. And one of the main things, like the main ways that I've interpreted it, is at least that comparative to the beginning of the game versus how the game ends, which is kind of like a mirror, because you start in this like weird level where you're on a skateboard or a longboard, I guess, and you're following this crystal butterfly that's made up of the broken pieces of your heart that turns you into the fool. I know it sounds like I'm on an LSD trip right now.
No, not until you try it.
But basically, it starts that way, and then it ends the same way, but instead of turning into the fool, you turn back into your normal self. And the entire sequence in the end, after basically going through all of these different levels where you defeat these different people masquerading as like death, the devil, the lovers, the moon, the hermit, and they're all different representations of things because they take the form of like a gang of bikers, of like a random VR headset wearing hermit at the end of a desert highway, or literally just this girl with a really bitchy bob who vomits and then you have to kill her in a maid uniform. It's a whole thing. But I think what the whole point of it to me is that even after defeating all of these different people and like basically taking the part of Harmony that was stuffed into their hearts, you go back in the final level to each one of them, and instead of the enemies that you fought, it turns into a different form of yourself, that instead of breaking their hearts and taking out, you instead give them a little smooch and you kiss them, and then you go to the next level. So to me, that made it seem more like going on your own like self-forgiveness journey of seeing either yourself in those situations or seeing it from maybe their perspective of whatever the situation is, and being the bigger person and being moving on by forgiving them, and thus going into who you're meant to be later on ego-wise, which I thought was a cool meaning. But then again, like I said, it can be a bunch of different meanings because of how like not concrete it is. But like I mentioned also, tarot cards, big section of this. I don't know why. I literally don't know why. I looked into the game and the most I can see is that the creator specifically just said, yes, we want a rhythm game that specifically has to do with Dreamscape motorcycles and tarot cards. Like, that is the whole reason.
What?
And the whole reason Queen Latifah is even the narrator in the beginning and the end part of it is because some of the developers randomly threw out her name to the main studio, Annapurna Games, and they ended up getting her and just randomly as the narrator, and like, well, here she is. But
I want to play that game one day.
it's really fun, and I think what really sets it apart as just a rhythm story driven game is that it has a lot of replayability for the people that are completionists, whereas you can also completely like go from the beginning to the end and never touch it again, and that'll also be a satisfying game. But one of the fun sections, I say fun sections, it's not fun if you're crazy, but I'm crazy, and it wasn't fun, but it was fun at the same time, because on the main menu they have the zodiac riddles, which basically go through the entire zodiac signs, and each of them has a riddle associated with them, and you have to basically solve the riddle to know what to do to get the achievement. And there's two different forms of it. There's the main wheel and then there's the reverse wheel, and they kind of have a relation to each other, but not all the time. And basically they'll tell you the riddle, and depending on like what it says, you have to guess like where to go and what to do. And another key part of all of the different levels is you can collect these specific coins on each level that are sometimes either hidden or like they're in very specific areas that you have to know where to go to get them. And doing that sometimes while also trying not to die is hard.
Well,
Because then that's the other part that I feel like lends itself to completionism, is each level can be completed with either a silver or gold rank, or you can just complete it normally and not care. But you can do a silver or a gold rank, and then if you max out the gold stuff, that's what unlocks a special mode where you can play from the beginning to the end without pausing and without dying. It's a whole thing.
oh god.
It's hard.
Of like the entire game, or
Yes, basically the way that it works
God.
is you can either play the game level by level, which is like the normal way that it's played, and you can individually like score separately and keep working on it and then go past it. And then once you get gold rank, or I think it's once you get gold rank on all of them, you unlock the normal mode where it's start to finish without pausing, and however far you get will be like your final score. And then if you complete all of the coins on each level, you get YOLO mode, which is where it's the same one, but if you die, it ends the run.
how long does it take to go through? Like,
Not as long as you'd think. I think overall, like the entirety of the soundtrack, which is literally the entirety of the game, is like maybe 30 something minutes. So it's not that long. However, if you are trying to like full on completionist run, get all the coins and everything, then it's gonna be hard. But that's up to you. I'm crazy. I'm not that crazy.
You say the entirety of the thing is only 30 minutes. According to the, I'm assuming this is it on Spotify right here. That this is 54 minutes.
I don't think so. Maybe I'm crazy. It doesn't feel
You
that
might be
it
crazy.
doesn't feel that long when you're going through it. And then on top of that, there's like very seamless transitions. Especially obviously in the endless mode where it just goes from one level into the next one. But also, let me tell you, now that you're looking it up, let me tell you about the music. It fucking slaps. It is made originally, it was supposed to be what's it called? They wanted to do it kind of like surfing music. That was what their original goal was. But during the entire development process, they were listening to basically a bunch of pop music, and that's what lent them to go in that direction. And if anything, I would say it's much more synth poppy. It's less like full on pop. And especially because there's a lot of instrumental tracks that are kind of like the in-between levels. Because there's a lot of, what's it called? Like heartbreak. Yeah, there's a lot of heartbreak hallways, essentially, where you go through and there are these portals. But it's very synth poppy, it's very ethereal, it's a magical feeling, and if you pair it with the visuals, which have a very unique vibe to them, because they're like low polygonal, so they're not as crazy detailed. It kind of reminds me, honestly, of like Paper Mario games, if you know what they look like. It's like that,
Yeah.
but with like an iridescent sheen to everything. That's basically the art style of the game to me. And that
Have you
mixed with
played-
what?
Have you played Rhythm Doctor?
You've told me about it before.
I think if you like story-driven games based on, but like with a musical aspect, I think you might like Rhythm Doctor. It is a bit more. It is challenging, like musically, but you might like it.
As in like it's slurpy noises or something?
No. I mean, like there is one of the boss levels has you trying to do this in 7/8, in the time signature 7/8, which is just a really fucking difficult time signature to do this in, and you only get so many mistakes, and then you have to redo the level.
Well, I think that was.
But I think it has a story during the levels while you're doing it, and I think if you can keep a good beat, you can I'll pay more attention to the levels.
I was about to
than
say,
everything.
because I feel, especially with this one, I know when I first played this game, which I feel like is very similar for like any rhythm game at all, when you're first playing it, especially if it does have a story of some kind, you're kind of focused on not dying because it's your first time like going through everything. But after like the first playthrough, then you kind of like sit with it more, especially if you already know like how the levels play out and everything. Because when I first played this game, which I'm pretty sure I first played on stream forever ago.
I'm pretty sure I remember seeing you play it.
I was having seizures. That's the other thing. It is not safe for epileptic people. This game is not safe for epileptic people, which is sad because it's a really pretty game, but there's a lot of like sparkly stuff. But
Every day, I'm glad I don't have epilepsy.
it's true, because you would die. But I'm just imagining like you laying in bed and a flash of lightning happening and you ceasing it.
Look at him, he's laughing at my imaginary seizure right now.
Oh, I have the hiccups. Okay.
I've
But-
had the hiccups 3 separate times today.
My personal favorite, like within the game, because obviously there's all the different levels, is I think the entire little death sequence is like the best part of the game. It's like right before the end of the game. It's when this little bitchy girl with the stupid little bob comes out and is trying to kill you.
There's one thing I know about Quiz. He fucking hates Bob.
No, but she had like what you had, and it's bad.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You hate a Bob.
But it's also fun because the music, the 3 music sections of the song, which I believe are called Transonic Gravity, Hate Skulls, and then Inside. In that order. It matches really well, especially because like the set design of all the different levels and everything is very funny. There's like Hate Hell Valley, there's Love Dead City. Like it's really funny because of how sad it is. And then once you get through it and you're
Wow.
like, oh, I'm punching this little girl to death and she's vomiting on the floor. What are we doing here? That's when you realize, oh my gosh, maybe it's just me interacting with my trauma. You know? And that's how I think this game is a free therapy session.
Okay.
To the sound of synth pop techno beats. And I think that's why I recommend it to everyone. Because you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll wonder what the fuck is going on. And all the meanwhile, you'll be jamming to some beats. And so ultimately,
What you really want in life.
it's true. I think that's the main reason why I like it so much, because while obviously, yeah, you can interpret the story however you want and everything, it's just fun because it's not complicated. And I feel like that's a very intentional move by the developers, where they made everything, even though like the levels are very different in how they play out, the controls are always the same, and you always basically know how to work the level. And I think that
It
lends
does
itself
say-
to it.
It does say like the average like completionist playtime for Sayonara Wild Hearts is only 10 hours.
10
Well, the main story's
hours?
For completionist.
Oh dear God.
Well, the main story is like 1.5 hours, and then main with side is like 2.5 hours.
What's considered side? The Zodiac riddles?
I don't know.
All I know is that technically speaking, there's 24 Zodiac riddles. And some of them are really easy and some of them are not easy. I only know that because I have completed all of them. And yeah, I think that's the main reason why I think it's just my favorite game ever. And I like the soundtrack, I like the game, I like the visuals, everything about it. Mwah. Kiss kiss. No crumbs. Yeah.
Is that you? Is that you throwing up on the child?
No, the child is throwing it.
Oh God.
Okay. Your turn. Which one do you want to do?
Should I do a long one or a short? My short one.
Do short one and we'll see. Well, no, hold on. I queued something up, so if your long one's the one I think it is, then do that one instead.
Music-wise, did you cue
Yes.
something up? Is that what you're saying? I'm assuming you think I'm gonna do Undertale.
Yes.
Okay. Did you cue up Undertale music?
Why, yes, I did.
If you queued up the fucking Bergen trucking thing, I'm going to slap you.
I don't know what that is, but sure.
Thank God, honestly.
Hold on, let me look for
Okay.
it.
No!
Let me look for it. Well, actually, no, I know.
And the worst part is I can't hear any of this.
I'll play my favorite song.
Stream it for me so I can hear it.
This isn't my favorite song. The amount of extra effort it's taking for this. I'll play my favorite song, and you go on. I have to find my favorite song.
I was about to say, Shop is your favorite song? Dummy's a good one. So Undertale isn't my favorite game of all time. It is definitely
Big fan.
it's definitely in my top 5 of favorite games of all time. I absolutely adore the story. I adore the music. It's very interesting because I'm in a position right now where I have a friend who is playing Undertale for the first time. And while I'm not getting to see them play it, I'm getting to hear a lot of their reaction to it. And it's really funny when they're talking to me about it because I'm like, I know fucking everything about this game because my little autistic brain latched onto it for a good 5 years.
You should see the Tumblr.
My multiple Tumblrs. But my experience with Undertale specifically went to the tune of, I think it was the January after it came out, so it would be January of 2016, because it came out in October of 2015, where when I was really into, I think, watching Jacksepticeye specifically, and I watched his playthrough of it. And he did his entire playthrough of it is just really good in general. He does voices for the people, and it's entertaining, and he really shows off the actual game. And that really kickstarted because I really, really liked it. And I was not good at games back then. I'm not that good at games now, but I was even worse. I was even worse back then. And so it took me a while to even play the game, and I think I pirated it at first. I have it now legally. I have it legally now. No, it's one of those games where it's like I feel like you should buy it because one, it's not that expensive, and two, this is a game where I think the creators deserve to be credited, like, and paid. But it has really good music. The story is phenomenal. The way that it breaks the fourth wall is so good, in my opinion. I love a video game that breaks the fourth wall in a awesome way. Because there are games that break the fourth wall, and I just sometimes they feel lazy, sometimes they kind of feel cheap, sometimes they're fun. Like the way the way Inscryption did it, it wasn't really in your face, but it was still kind of fun. And it, like, allowed for something really, really fun, and it didn't have any consequences.
It had so many layers.
It had a lot of layers. So, like, when I say awesome way, maybe I'm a little bit biased towards Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm not a big fan of how it broke the fourth wall. I think there are certain aspects that were really fun, like it reading your Twitch and everything, if you were streaming. I thought that was fun. I think those are fun mechanics, and I do like messing with the game files. I think that's very fun.
Ooh, what about that other one I played, Me Side?
I haven't seen anything about that. I didn't watch you play it.
I played it on stream!
I didn't watch it, I'm sorry!
Wow, fake fan.
I'm bad at watching streams.
Can't believe it.
I will do you have the VODs? I'll watch the VODs.
So I think they're gone
Wow.
by now. Because it was that long ago.
I'm sorry. I'll find a way to watch them or something. I don't know. But the way that it breaks the fourth wall, it breaks the fourth wall, but not in a way that actually breaks your immersion. Why did I just hear you? What?
I'm looking something up.
I just hear myself.
The horror.
But listen, my attention span is negative.
It's fucking gone.
It's awful. And I also don't like watching something that I can't pause. So.
You can pause streams.
Yeah, but then I'll come back and I just can't do it. I can't do it. I don't know how to articulate
Oh.
why it's hard for me. But the way that it breaks the fourth wall, the way Undertale breaks the fourth wall is that and of course it does it mainly with Sans. And there's a reason why he's the Tumblr sexy man. And I was not immune to the propaganda, let me tell you. The way it breaks the fourth wall a lot is that it's aware of the fact that it's a game. But the characters in it also don't really understand what that means. The fact that it's a game plays into the game itself. For anyone who hasn't played Undertale, it is a RPG where you're a human who has fallen into the underground that is filled with monsters. And the entire thing is monsters are trying to attack you to get your soul so that they can leave the underground, because they have 6 other human souls and they need the 7th one to break the barrier that the humans use to lock monsters in the underground way long ago. And there are 3 main routes to Undertale. There is the pacifist route, there is the neutral route, and there is something that is called that back in the day was called the genocide route. I don't think they're using that term anymore. I think it's just called like the violent route, or it might be called the love route. I'm not entirely sure. But I don't feel comfortable calling it the genocide route either anymore, even though that is kind of what you're doing. And the pacifist or true ending route is, as a sound, it's the true ending. It is the ending where you have to go through the entire game doing specific things. You cannot gain a single point of experience. If you gain a single point of experience, then meaning you kill anything, that means you have lost the true ending. You've lost the true pacifist ending and you have to restart. And it has it so that you go through the entire game and you get to what would be just a neutral route ending, because after you get that ending, you have to reload the last save and then go back into it and do something else. And then you go back to the end of the game and you get that true ending, which is that I think itself is a very fun concept of like, you don't get the true ending on the first try no matter what you do. And the ending itself is just, oh, it's so good. And the music, and it's emotional, it's just, oh. The neutral ending is literally everything in between. It's, you gain experience points, but you don't kill everything. And there are various ways that it can end. There is like at the end of the neutral run, there is like a phone call that you do. A phone call that you get from like the characters. And there are so many branching paths to that phone call depending on what you did. Everything gets taken into account, and I love games like that. I want my actions to have consequences. And then there's the route where you kill everyone. And that route is long, it is difficult, it is grueling. And the game makes it as miserable for you as possible to complete this route, because you have to sit there for a while in every single zone before you get to the boss fight of that area, and just keep walking around until you get every single monster and you kill every single one until it runs out of encounters for you. And then each time you're walking to the exit, you're getting bombarded with what is with a foe encounter that just says, and nobody came, and it's annoying as hell. And then you one-shot all the bosses. Unless it is 2 specific bosses, in which case they're so fucking difficult that I've never beaten them. So that's fun, but their music, slaps. And even that ending is so sad. And it breaks the fourth wall, and also in the sense that if you do the run where you kill everyone, and then you do the run where you do the pacifist ending, it changes the ending. Which is so interesting too. And just, I love, it's such a good game. and I need to. I have tried I'm a completionist, Mikey, and I'm also a certified Sans fangirl. And if I want to fight Sans, I have to do the kill everyone ending.
Well,
It's true.
how to be
Mikey,
edgy
what-
skeleton.
And every time and the only way you can actually reset your game, clearly someone wasn't listening to me, Hide. If you want to actually reset your game, there is something called what is considered in the wider fandom called a true reset. And I think that's even called in the game too. Shut up, Shinny. Shut up. Shut up.
Where are those
I
Luca
try.
boxes?
I'm gonna work on those. I'm gonna work on those after stream, actually. But the only way you can do a true reset is you either get one of the 2 major endings, or you delete your save file. That's the only way, because if you reset your save file like halfway through, there are certain characters that remember things that you did in the previous run. There's so many things that will pop up, and I feel like it's impossible to get every single thing in that game, like every piece of dialogue, just because of how vast it is. But one of the things that really impacted me is I love the games. I love the game. I love the music. I love everything about it. But at the same time, my main experience with Undertale was not with the games, but rather with the community surrounding the games. Because Undertale is the thing that got me on Tumblr, and it is also the thing that got me on Discord back in the day. I would have gotten on Discord on my own eventually, I feel like, but I got onto Discord specifically because of Tumblr role-playing events for Undertale. The community, you were just seeing the bad parts of the community. I will agree that there were a lot of obnoxious people in the community, but not everyone was obnoxious. It's a lot like any other, it's a bigger fandom, so you see that a bit more, but every fandom has obnoxious people. And I was there for I followed a lot of the big artists. I was there for some of the
Phantom was hella raunchy. It wasn't just the Spanish Phantom, Mikey.
I mean, if you really want, it's not gonna help the situation, but because I was in the role-playing sphere on Tumblr for Undertale, and I know one of the people I had role-played with, keep in mind, I was in middle school, mainly, during this. I was in middle school, mainly, and I remember one of the people who I had role-played with in the past, something happened with them. They had some sort of mental break, and this was before the porn ban too. And I just saw an uncensored penis. I'm like, what the fuck? And I promptly unblocked and followed them.
No. Unfollowed and blocked them is what you meant to say.
Yes, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. What did I say? What did I say?
You said unblocked and followed them.
No, I did the opposite.
Sarah saw that penis and said, absolutely, that's what I'm here for.
No. Unfollowed and blocked
Somebody
them.
Clip it.
No, shut up.
That's so
Shut
funny. Unblocked and followed. Thank you very much.
I didn't hear myself say that. I want to make this clear. And I said the right thing in my ear.
Oh my gosh.
But that was my main. Not that experience specifically, but my main experience with Undertale in general was fandom. Shut up.
It has the same vibe as Go Back to Sleep and Starve. Oh, okay. Anyways.
I feel like that wraps that up, I guess.
Well, what's your smaller game then?
It would be my actual favorite game of all time, which is
How
Ni no
is that a
Kuni Breath of the
smaller
White Witch.
game?
It's not. To be fair, I think I thought I had more to talk about with Undertale. But with Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, it itches like everything in my brain. It has a fantastic story. It has Ghibli animation for cutscenes. It has incredible, such a good story. It has such a good story. It has awesome characters. Swain, my beloved. It has really fun boss fights. It has Pokemon-like mechanics. It has a mix of like magic. It has a mix of like just like weapon fighting. It has an alchemy area. It has collectibles. It has it's just so good. And I know the thing I want more than anything as a collectible item that I don't think I will ever be able to get is the is the actual physical copy of the Wizard's Companion. I have one that I made that cost me like $200 to print out that I have and I still love deeply, but it's not in color, first off, because that would have costed even more. But it's not the same. I would love an actual Wizard's Companion. Oh, what I would give for a Wizard's Companion. And I've tried to find them, but I can't find. I think the hard part too is trying to find one in English. So that's part of it. But I love Mr. Drippy. I love Swain and I love Mr. Drippy. And
Mr. Drippy?
That's his name. He was to the main character, he was a plush. He's technically a fairy who got turned into a plush. He got cursed to be a plush. And then when the main character's mom died, the kid cried tears onto him and he turned back into a fairy.
Okay.
And he's like your main companion throughout most of the game.
Is he
and
this
I love
thing?
him deeply. Let's see, hold on. Yes, he is.
Well,
I love him
doesn't
so
look
much.
like a fairy.
That's what they're fairies. He has like a Scottish accent. I love him so much.
Ah, yes.
He's
notorious.
He is great. I love him so much. I think the magic is fun. It's just it's to me it's as close to a perfect game that I can get to. Cause like even the music, phenomenal. Like I said, it has Pokemon like elements where but the way they do it is they have it so that it's like a split evolution line for every single creature. And some of them are just so fucking funny. There's one where it's a tornado that's bananas.
Well,
And that's fantastic.
that's
I
Faye's nightmare.
love that. Why is that Faye's nightmare?
She's allergic to bananas.
Oh, well, I thought it was just potassium that she didn't like.
Well,
Well,
that too.
it's just, and it does something that I also really like, which is a soulmates mechanic. I say mechanic. Soulmates like lore thing, where it's because it takes place in a parallel world, basically, where one is reality and then one is a fantasy, where everyone has a soulmate. So there's the shopkeeper's cat is the king of Ding Dong Dell in the fantasy realm. Or the shopkeeper herself is the queen of the desert place in the fantasy realm. and there's stuff like that, which I think is so much fun, and it's just it's so good. I love it so much, and I do want to play it on stream one day, but I gotta prepare myself for that.
What do you mean prepare yourself?
Because there will be things I want to do, and I want to make sure I'm in a good headspace for it, and I don't do like what I'm currently doing with Persona, where I'm just kind of leaving it, because I got burnt out on it. So
In the game that shall never be finished.
I will finish it. It's just gonna take me 10 years to do it.
Wow.
They're called actually Babanas in the game, and so I don't actually remember what they're called. Tornado. A Baban. Ni no Kuni. And then I know there's sequels. Sequels are nowhere. They're not anything like.
Sequels, they don't exist.
Ni no Kuni. They're called familiars. Familiars. And I what I will also say about Ni no Kuni is I have made, because I have the physical wizard's companion, that's something that you reference for a lot of things, including it's where like you have like a collection of like a Pokedex kind of thing in there, but it's also where you can get just a whole bunch of information. And because I'm me, I was like rewriting some information so it was a bit more consolidated into a separate journal based off of what I would find in the Wizard's Companion. It also, I to be fair, I got into Ni no Kuni way back before it happened, but I didn't get to play it for myself because it was only on, I think it was only on PS4 for a very long time. So that was the only way to play it, and then it got ported to both PC and Switch at some point, and so I actually have it on both now. But I got to play it, I think, in 2022 for the first time myself. And one, fantastic, like I remembered it being, but
Like I remember it being,
it
hasn't
was-
played it at all.
well, I watched someone play it.
That's how she knew.
I watched someone play it, someone I still watch to this day, but in a completely different genre than I remember him being in. Yeah, it was a PlayStation game only for a while.
Well,
But it was also specifically, I started playing it for myself during the height of my depression when I was in the mental hospital.
the perfect
And I
time.
don't even think I've really talked about my experience in the mental hospital on the pod.
I think
surprisingly-
you have, actually.
Have I?
I
When?
remember you talking about the entire toast fiasco on stream.
I don't- Does that count?
Yes. Because
Okay.
you always preface it with when I was,
When
in,
I was
the
in the
mental
mental
hospital.
But I don't think I've talked about the actual experience of the mental hospital.
I didn't realize you wanted an episode for that.
I think it would be surprising that I haven't yet. Because I talk about it so
I'll write
much.
it down.
You'll write it down. But it has one of the core mechanics of Ni no Kuni is that the main antagonist is taking people's hearts, is taking an aspect of them that they don't, like, that they need to function. So if I actually, like, because I'm gonna forget and I'm gonna kick myself for aspects of heart.
A bladder.
What?
You need a bladder function. Where else the pee gonna go?
Oh,
So you're telling me if you didn't have a bladder, you'd be okay?
that's not what this is about. It's not what
Where's
this is
the
about.
lie?
No, the heart, the pieces of heart that you need to function, according to Ni no Kuni, this is enthusiasm, kindness, courage, restraint, belief, confidence, love, ambition, humor, and curiosity. And plays to it in the fact of if you need a balance of these. You can't have too much and you can't have too little of one thing. And so one of the things that you do is you will come across people who are lacking something, and you have to go to someone who has so much of it that if you take a little bit off the top, it's not going to hurt them. And you give it to that person who needs it. Like the first one you experience is there are 2 guards guarding Ding Dong Dell. One of them is super enthusiastic. The other one is what they call broken-hearted. And you gotta go to the other guard, and have to be like, hey, you have so much enthusiasm. Can I take some of that and give it to your friend? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, go ahead. And you give it to him, and then he's fine again. And so what I was doing a lot of, especially because this was near the end of when I was getting ready to be discharged, is I was relating a lot to it, and I was being like, okay, I was listening to people when they were talking group therapy, and they were getting ready when everyone else was being in the process of being discharged. I would write them a little note that said like, hey, here, this is me giving you some of my kindness or some of my courage that I think you might need to when you go out into the real world and you need to remember some of this stuff. So that's what I was doing, and I was talking about it a lot as well. So I also highly relate it to that. So I think that increases my love for it even more. But
Someone just got a piece that says, I'm giving you my kindness, and I'm like, this is a piece of paper.
Symbolism, man, symbolism.
So you drew a symbol?
Yes, actually, because it was there's like each spell has like a little sigil that you're supposed to.
You were casting spells in the hospital?
I was casting spells.
Well, this explains a lot. The toast was to keep you in line so you wouldn't cast bad spells.
When they had toast.
Well, I mean, that's funny though. In the sense, not the hospital part, I'm talking about the game sense of them also, the entire concept around it surrounding Broken Hearts. Because I feel like one of the core aspects about Sayonara Wild Hearts, obviously, you know, with hearts in the name, is that it's supposed to be, in a way, obviously self-reflective, but also kind of going across potentially either aspects of yourself, again, because interpretation, or aspects of people that you've had experience with, and kind of taking the bits away from them and putting them to actually put yourself back together.
Yeah.
Well, Mikey, I'm nothing if not really me, for at least one second.
You learn to get used to it. You learn to navigate it.
You almost had another situation where you did a yee.
I do that a lot more than you realize, man.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what the spells are for. I
have
mean,
too much enthusiasm.
The only thing, I mean, I can think of a second game that I would not be able to go into full detail, although I definitely could, which we could go for one of the future episodes because it would be part of it. But one of my top favorite games, being one of the Pokemon series, is actually the second game I played. Is technically
The
speaking,
Black and White?
No, that was the third game I played. Technically speaking, the first game I played.
What the hell is that? What was that thing that I saw?
Jesus.
What?
Okay.
Pikachu, no.
So technically, the first game I played was Diamond, and I got Diamond secondhand from a GameStop, and it had clearly been cheated on because there was so many legendaries and mythical Pokemon on it. But this was my first ever introduction to Pokemon games, so I didn't know. And they were named some not great things, but I didn't care. However, the first official game that I played by myself for the first time, like new save and everything, was Platinum, and I got it at a GameStop, new. in its little case and everything, because the diamond one didn't come with a case, it just came with the cartridge. And platinum, and I've heard, technically speaking, from like people in the Pokemon community, that platinum is highly rated comparative to the other two just because it improved upon what they already had a lot. But I played diamond first, and then I played platinum. And platinum overall, and it could be because of the improvements from diamond and all that stuff, but it was the perfect Pokemon game to me as a starting point, and then everything from then onwards was just never the same. And some people will say that Black and White 2 were the best of the DS games. I think Platinum, solely because I have a soft spot for the Distortion world and Giratina. Favorite legendary. But also the entire world of Sinnoh, I feel like was just a really fun place to go around.
I think you're gonna really like Legends Arceus, especially if you remember a lot of places from Sinnoh.
Well, that's the thing.
It's literally just old Sinnoh.
I already recognize a bunch of people that I'm like, you are probably just ancestors of all of these people that I recognize their character design based off of. Because at the same time, you also can't deny the Gen 4 games brought one of the, if not the most iconic champion, both herself as well as her theme. Because everyone apparently has PTSD when they hear Cynthia's theme. But I remember, but also Platinum just, it wasn't just Platinum, it was Diamond and Pearl too, but Platinum was just the better version of it. But Gen 4 in and of itself introduced so many fun things that seemingly only happened in Gen 4. Like, they are not the only one, because they obviously had contests and stuff before this back in, I want to say, was it Emerald, Ruby and Sapphire? Yes. I think so. Those are the ones that had the Pokeblocks. They had contests and stuff, but obviously it wasn't the exact same, and this I feel like was the best iteration of contest stuff, of which not a lot of people were into. Yoshi was into it, let me tell you. Yoshi was a poffin whore because she loved making those things. But then also, it was the first and best, because I don't count BDSP.
Yeah, no one does.
The iteration of the Underground, where it was really fun, really satisfying, cool to do with your friends if you had friends. If you didn't, you could still mine like a child should. The children, they yearn for the mines.
They yearn for the mines!
Because you could uncover all kinds of stuff, you could get fossils, all that stuff. It was really fun. You could make a secret base. And then on top of that, there was also just like hidden mechanics. I also know for a fact that Platinum in and of itself, funnily enough, for being my favorite game, is like one of the hardest games.
Yeah.
In the Pokemon series overall, like comparative to any of the new generation stuff, it's definitely harder. I would say comparative to like maybe Black 2. I feel like Black 2 is kind of challenging, but they're definitely like the old ones were the hardest, just comparatively. But Platinum felt like it had a lot of mechanics that they didn't explain to you, and you kind of just had to do it. And I liked that, because I think that's one thing that I miss so much from the newer games, is because it's so handholdy, it kind of feels less like you're exploring it for yourself. Yeah. Whereas Platinum, they literally threw you in, and they're just like, well, you died. Give me $500. I think the best low HP music is probably from Black and White, because that's when they remixed the low HP
Black
sound,
and White.
And that's when it was not only I'm jamming in the club, but also I'm crying. Someone's about to die.
I do think probably Gen 5 had some of the best music to come out of a Pokemon game.
I really liked Black, and when we played Black 2, I thought it was a really cool story, and it was different enough from the original Black and White game that I think it was fine calling it a sequel, because they definitely changed a bunch of things, whereas Platinum felt more like a restructure with a bit of like, if you want to call it DLC, although it was a separate game.
One of the things I remember was a big complaint when BDSP came out, was the fact that it was a faithful remaster of the worst versions of that generation. Like,
Yeah.
they remade very faithfully Diamond and Pearl, but they didn't include any of the improvements that Platinum gave it. Which a lot of people were not happy about. So, especially with stuff like the national decks and how that was handled.
Plus, they basically made it even harder for any multiplayer function to work, which I feel like was a key aspect of the older generation games.
I missed Capture the Flag.
I remember doing that. That was horrible.
The thing is, I would have to steal Portillo's DS.
There was so much running involved.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I feel like it was definitely centered, even like the contests and stuff, or like in Platinum, because technically speaking, versus Diamond and Pearl, they had like the entire Battle League in that island section that had opened up that had a bunch of extra games and like game centers for different versions of like arcade battles, which were really cool. And I remember thinking that was the most fun thing to do, like for like a post-game section, because it actually added different interactions in how you could battle, so it wasn't just like feeling very monotonous. And then also in Platinum, you could buy a mansion. You could buy a mansion and you could furnish that bitch. Did it serve any purpose other than just basically shoving money into it? No. It was fun. And there was this club where they wouldn't let you in unless your Pokemon had a certain amount of ribbons. Like, they literally wouldn't even let you in the building unless your Pokemon was an esteemed celebrity.
Deserved, frankly.
Like, there was just so many aspects to it, and like they didn't tell you how many ribbons you needed or like what ribbons you needed. They just said you can't come in yet. And I think that's what made it interesting. It's just like back when in X and Y, when you couldn't go into certain shops and stuff because you weren't quote unquote stylish enough, and they didn't tell you how. They just said you're not stylish and you kind of just had to do stuff. I thought that was an interesting mechanic, especially because they didn't tell you. You just had to do it. So I don't know. I feel like just overall, Platinum is one of my favorite games and definitely my favorite Pokemon game to this day. Because there's nothing that can capture it quite the same.
I think nostalgia-wise, X and Y is my favorite, but that was also like my first one. But I think if I had to like, I don't know, but genuinely, Scarlet and Violet might be my favorite Pokemon games right now. Because I think the story is so good and the characters are so good. The game itself struggles.
Well.
And it has issues, but if you want story, I think the story of Scarlet and Violet are probably my favorite. But I really do like the actual like gameplay and mechanics of X and Y.
I do think the lore and everything surrounding it is good, and I think what sucks is just because of the performance, as well as like certain aspects that like are similar to the hand-holdiness, but also like kind of how it's a free range sort of thing where you could go anywhere, but like if you go certain places you will die because that's just how it is, like level wise. I think that lends itself to like make me question why they made it a free roam situation in the first place, if like you had to grind it out to get to certain areas. It always just made me wonder.
But then you also have people who are like, yeah, I got without ever getting any of the Titans because they know how to do it. Like, I know one of the people who I really like his playthrough of Scarlet and Violet, he decided that he was going to do everything but the gyms and then do the gyms, and so he was battling people, like he did the Arven battle with a bunch of Pokemon who would not obey him, and he managed to pull it off, and he took it as a challenge and he did it.
Oh my god, also speaking of battles, Scarlet Violet, like one of the worst champions.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't consider Greta to be the actual challenge, like the actual champion, but rather Nemona to be the champion.
I mean, it depends, because that, funnily enough, that's another thing that happened in Platinum. I think in Diamond and Pearl, but I think Platinum specifically, where on the battle island area, you can do a post-game battle with your rival, and you can do a level 1, and there's like this hidden level 2 version that never actually got accessible, but then there's a level 3 version after beating like the Elite Four 20 times or something, where he has like level 70 something Pokemon. Or, oh my gosh, way back in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and technically Gold and Silver, where you could fight Red on the mountain.
Oh yeah.
And that was terrifying when you didn't know why you were going up there, and then you're like, oh, I'm facing a level 87 Pikachu.
Yeah. And
But-
how he just didn't say anything too.
And that's like, I just want that fun, horrifying challenge again. I want that to be in my Pokemon soup. I'm eating Pokemon soup.
Don't eat the Pokemon soup. Don't eat the unknown soup.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, don't worry. We'll have a Pokemon episode. Again,
Oh,
probably.
we sure will.
I swear we've talked about it before.
I'm sure we have.
Other than the
but we-
Pokédex stuff. But yeah.
but
So,
we sure do love Pokemon.
with that in mind, we will see y'all in 2 weeks. I am streaming something this Wednesday. I know what I'm streaming. It's decided. It's in stone. Pokemon Soup is there. It's not Pokemon related.
I was about to say, are you gonna figure out a way to stream Arceus? Like, what's going on
I
there?
could probably get a capture card, but anyways. And with that, and Sarah will stream Persona this week. And with that,
We'll see.
goodbye.
Goodbye.